So we say, I have understood it, but I understood it. Then what the mind has been doing, we start doing the same thing. So there is not an understanding, it is misunderstanding. Meditation, oh, just listen to this guy, do the practice, forget it. Let us get engaged in what we are doing. So that is not going to change us. So our goal is transformation, ultimate transformation. So if we look at the previous sutras, a couple of the sutras we started with, let us take with Om meditation. So where we did 4 or 5 practices, and there the goal was that we should practice with understanding. So that was the first sutra. So once we practice with understanding, when we practice with understanding, then what happens? That leads to a highest meditative state plus removal of all the distractions. All the obstacles are removed. So the Patanjali I have been telling you has been very kind. He says, no worries. Did you understand? No, I understand, but you see, this is not understanding. I understand, but. So where comes the but? I know, Kate, but what does it mean? So the master has never questioned. He says, okay, continue the practice, it will remove all the obstacles. Then he points out the 9 obstacles. Do you remember the 9 obstacles? And why we should remember? Because if the mind enters into that area, we can get out of it by opposing. Huh? Why? I feel very heavy in the mind. So start questioning, where is the heaviness in the body and heaviness in the mind? Make fun of your mind. Oh, does the weight of the body has increased? That's why, mind, you're telling me that I feel dullness or heaviness. But if we are not aware, you need not to be aware of me, what I'm doing. You need to be aware of yourself. So if you are aware of yourself, all those 9 obstacles you pick up, you destroy. You pick up, you destroy. Ah, you are telling me 9 obstacles. Who will remember them? Our mind says, who will remember them? I know everything, don't worry. I know everything, so mind from the back huh, returns with these obstacles. Oh, have you done the practice today? No, I was very busy. Busy for what? Busy to be stressed. You see that? So the master says, okay, no worries. So I will tell you according to Patanjali. I'm using the word I for Patanjali. So Patanjali says, let me tell you that you can do the practice 24/7, the way you wake up. Huh? Remember, Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshana, equanimity, huh? Full of happiness and joy in the mind, compassion and friendliness. So I have to interact with the people, with the objects, with the things every day, every moment. So I should cultivate this attitude of cheerfulness. So when I cultivate that attitude of the cheerfulness by these 4 attitudes, sometimes you look at this guy, he has an attitude. So let us have an attitude of friendliness. The previous phrase was negative, but this is positive. Let us have that attitude of friendliness. So even that helps us to change the mind. And ultimately, we succeed in meditation. No, this is also not good. You see that? You go to university for admission in a particular course, they ask you what you have done before. So they have a straight answer. No, you are not eligible. You cannot do it. So in this journey of the Eastern wisdom, we never say that you are not eligible. You can become eligible, provided you follow the path, provided you understand these principles. So we don't have any criteria. No, you are not eligible. Everyone is eligible. You see, that is the beauty of this Eastern wisdom. So last 2 weeks, last 2 or 3 sessions or 4 sessions we have done. Patanjali says by the breathing practice, we understand that very breath, how the breath is related to the mind and the body. So once we have understood and we are doing even the breathing practices, what happens? It does not lead you to meditation, but it helps you. It helps you succeed in meditation. How? Because it removes all the distractions. Removes the distractions, brings the calmness. Ultimately, it leads to the cheerfulness of the mind. That state of the cheerfulness of the mind will help you to move the mind within, succeed in meditation. So we are leaving until that part. So now comes, the master says, Vishayavati va, the verse number 35. Pravrati rupanna manasa sthito bandhani. Sthiti nibandhani. Simple translation. And it blows your mind. What he says, that focus on any object of the world outside will help you remove all the distractions. What? My mind is running after a lot of objects every day when I wake up in the morning until I sleep. How can it remove all the obstructions? How can it remove all the distractions? How it will help me to succeed in meditation? That's what I have been doing every day. And my mind is crazy. Now, I'm talking about myself, not about you. So don't worry. Don't take it on you. Don't take anything on yourself, whatever I'm saying. Even I may refer any name while explaining a concept. It does not mean that it belongs to you. You have a problem. Never think that. I have all the problems. That is very, very higher aspect, and that we will talk later. So now understand, what is this? What is primary goal? It's such a beautiful concept. And once you practice, you can do the practice daily at 24/7. So again, I'm repeating. The steadiness of the mind means the distraction can be removed, and the steadiness of the mind can be achieved by contemplation and reflecting on the objects of the world outside. I'm the object outside. So if you contemplate and reflect on me, can you remove all the distractions? So that is why the learning has to be done under a master and a disciple tradition. So now understand. Goal is focus the mind, state of cheerfulness, and remove all the distractions. How mind can be focused and cheerful when it picks up the objects of the world outside? It may be anything. What you like, pasta. So can you focus on the pasta to to remove the distraction? You like red cloth, red shirt, for example. Anything that you like. So that is what we are understanding. So the commentator explains first, step by step. You say, I like pasta. This is a thought. Thought has two elements. I am plus pasta, isn't it? I am plus pasta. So are you clear about pasta? Are you clear about I am? Are you getting it? I'm just making it very simple. Through the intellect, I express I like pasta. This is a thought. Every thought always has two elements. What are those two elements? One is the object and other is I-ness. I am. Clear? I am. I know you. You see, I am plus you. I hate that guy. Hate is in between. Hate is the knowledge. I plus that person. That I plus thought is I. So do I know, first thing, who am I? Second is, do I know the object clearly? Do I have the right knowledge clearly? So our master says, if we have a right knowledge, it means the intellect lives in discernment and dispassion. And that I is the real I, then there is no problem. We are already in the state of meditation 24/7. So instead of focusing on the name and the form of an object, according to Patanjali, seeker has to focus on the attribute of the sense organ by changing the locus. What it means? Do you know rose? Flower? Everyone knows rose flower. Do you know the smell of a rose flower? Do you know it? Can you bring the smell of a rose, fragrance of a rose flower in your mind instead of a rose? This is what the Patanjali is saying. Are you getting it? My honey is doing this. My honey is wonderful. So, honey is not present here physically. But, you see, there is a subtle understanding. There is a subtle awareness. So there is a little change. What the commentator has explained it. What he has explained? Yeah. Takes the same example of a rose. For example, if the mind likes the fragrance of a rose, we should focus on the fragrance of a rose at the tip of the nose. Why? Tip of the nose is one sense organ by which we get a knowledge of that fragrance. Are you getting it? So locus is different. Locus is not the object outside. So commentator has explained lot of centers inside the body to have an object of these five sense organs. Let us make it little more clear. What the master is saying, at the tip of the nose, recall any fragrance that you like without an object. So that becomes a knowledge of the sense organ, that is the smell. At the tip of the tongue, for a spatial taste. You like pasta? No worries. Remember, okay, pasta. Bring the mind at the tip of the tongue. And then recall, relive that fragrance, let that taste. So understand these are the 5 centers. Tip of the nose for smell, tip of the tongue for taste, upper palate for color in the form, the middle of the tongue for sensation of touch, for the root of the tongue for the sound. Root of the tongue for the sound. When a seeker has the above spatial experiences, distractions are totally removed, focus is gained, and one is absorbed into meditation. So there is one more thing that needs to be understood, and you will be able to recall. But before that, let's understand, this is what Patanjali has explained in the 3rd chapter, Desabandhasya Chetasya Dharana. You confine the territory of the mind on these specific centers for a particular sensation. That is what we normally translate as focus and concentration. So what happens? Mind, uninterrupted flow of the mind takes place, and that helps you to absorb into meditation. Now your honey is not in front of you, and so-called you love intensively your honey, so you close your eyes, imagine, and you are already with the honey. Your mind is totally absorbed. And your mom comes, hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing doing. I'm not doing nothing. Sometimes these things happens. You're totally absorbed somewhere. You see? So just similar like this, if we follow this, a seeker may choose any object of any sense, like the smell of a rose flower, experience the fragrance by bringing a rose near the nostril. So you are bringing the smell of a rose near the nostril. This is the meaning of what Patanjali is explaining. Then he meditates at the tip of the nose to recall. You recall the fragrance of a rose. So mind from all the directions are engaged there, and that changes your mind. That changes your mind. So, yeah, there is one thing more that is important. During the journey, those who have been regular, they have different visions, colors. Huh? Now, can you see that? Can you relate to that? Those experiences meant for you that your sense organ have become very subtle. Subtle means it has removed all the distractions, and you lived into those vision of infinite space, a sense of bodilessness, a vision, a spark of light, different colors, like indigo and the green. So color, where the color is. The color in the form is, it means the mind was there on the upper palate. That is the center to have the color in the form. Spatial touch in the sensation, that includes heaviness in the body, coolness. Now you can relate to those experiences. You instantly have those experiences. The moment the mind naturally picks up the attribute of the sense organ, it does not pick up the object. Where is the rose flower? Yes, it picks up the smell. What is the cloth? it picks up the red color minus the clothes. Huh? Are you getting it? It picks up the taste of the pasta instead of the pasta. So mind becomes subtle, it is absorbed inside, and you remove all the distractions of the mind. It is one of the most powerful, it is more of the one of the most powerful practice. Has raised a hand. Yes, Kate.
if if a connection, if it's color but not connection to something of the color, like purple but not necessarily thinking of a violet, do you know what I mean? What the or purple or gold or light, bright light, is there any significance to the particular color?
Yes, there is a tremendous significance that will become another topic. Every color has represents a different layers in the state of our mind. So that we will take up. First thing is to reach there. And when you have a constant, say, one particular color, one particular smell, then we say, yes, the mind is going there in that particular state of consciousness. It will be coming in the future. Now, this thing happens when the mind is 100% available to you. On one day, you see those visions and colors, and other day, you don't see it. You don't see it. Why? On a given day, when you do not have those experiences, but it is not essential. Sometimes the mind is totally absorbed into the thoughtlessness state. It is not required. The goal is to, do you remember the goal? Instead of having the visions, removing all the distractions, the mind is totally settled in meditation. So when you have the vision and colors and the taste of variety, it still falls at the level of the mind. Do you understand that? Whether it is of any color. So it is not of much significance. It is not of, but yes, it is significant for the novice, for the beginners. Oh, you have seen that color. That color you can see with the eyes open also. So that needs to be understood. So understand, if the mind is 100% available, then you enter into these vision and colors and experiences, and ultimately the mind is totally absorbed into the higher consciousness. When that happens, at that moment when you are a seeker, and we have already understood what it means by seeker. Do you remember the 5 qualities of a seeker? Shraddha, faith, virya, energy, commitment, smriti, right memory. You are practicing regularly, and that gives you a state of higher consciousness. That is one way to understand this sutra. We will understand this sutra in a different way in the next session. How many ways? There are almost 1,000 ways of understanding, and especially the practice. Maybe I would say 1,000 practices of meditation based on this sutra. So we should appreciate Patanjali. He has just given one sutra that explains more than 1,000 practices. So today we will practice at the tip of the nose, and we will recall maybe a fragrance of a rose or or sandalwood, whatever it is. But what we are going to do is that we will add the previous 2 steps also. So that will become a unique and so-called powerful meditation practice. I don't know marketing. This is the most powerful meditation, and you are the weakest person. Then who will succeed? No one will succeed. So who becomes the powerful? You are a seeker. That makes the practice powerful. So that's why I don't use this is the most powerful meditation. So it means until now I have given all the practices that are useless. We should have that, right? Knowledge and right understanding. So let us start our journey of meditation.